Hi, welcome to my YouTube channel, Professor RJ Placone on communication excellence. Today we're going to talk about how what's not being said can speak volumes, and sometimes it's more important than what is said. I learned a long time ago the importance of what's not said. I've done a lot of letters of recommendation. I've read a lot of letters of recommendation. And I know when I write them, there's sort of the generic template letter. And then for the excellent students, the best students, I'm going to use benchmarks. I'm going to say this student is in the top 5% of all students I've ever taught. Or I'm going to put myself in the hiring manager's position and say, if this student applied for a job with me, absolutely I would consider them for employment. But if I don't put that in there, why not? What's not being said is actually more important than what is said in that boilerplate fashion. I think today, as we all try to be strong consumers of political communication, we're faced with a multitude of challenges. We have to sift through coded language. What do these words mean? There's a lot of elections next week. And one of the things that we're hearing in the state I'm in is judges are up for retention, and these are radical activist judges. I don't really know what that means. I've researched voting records of these judges that are given the labels of radical activists, and you know what I've concluded? These folks vote based on the Constitution. They boast based on the Constitution rather than partisan perspectives. Yeah, they vote to support the Constitution. That seems rather radical in this day and age, doesn't it? So you try to figure out what exactly it means. And what it may mean, what's not being said is, well, you know what, if you vote for these judges, they're not going to support us if we need them to bend things a little bit and be there if there's any kind of challenge. I want judges who are going to support the Constitution. So if that's how we choose to label them, those types of judges are probably the kind of candidates that I will vote for. But we're faced with all of these word salads and evasive remarks, and we have to sift through. What does it mean? What's not being said? If we take Donald Trump, one example, and then Zohran Mamdani, the candidate and almost certainly the next mayor of New York, for an example. Let's talk about both of them. So, for Donald Trump, how many months have we heard, well, can Trump run again in 2028? Will he run again in 2028? Trump has put out hats. Steve Bannon has made a lot of comments. And Trump has been very evasive, seemingly enjoying getting under the skin of his political opponents and just keeping it out there, not slamming the door shut. It's what's not being said. All one would need to say is, you know what? The 22nd Amendment of the Constitution prohibits this. It's not being done. The closest he has come to that was this week when part of his statement was, and based on what I read, I guess I'm not allowed to run. So we'll see what happens. But even in a statement like that, there's some ambiguity. There's something not being said. That definitive of slamming the door shut based on the Constitution, I can't run. So what's not being said is probably more important. Mamdani, Mamdani. He has been under fire. He's been having to deal with a lot of videos that have surfaced. He's been on the defensive regarding Hamas, the New York Police Department, Israel, and some of the way he responds makes one wonder, what's he really thinking? What does he really believe? If we take Hamas, for example, he has said he has condemned the attacks. But when asked, is there a place for Hamas in Gaza? Do you think Hamas should disarm? He will say things like, I really don't have an opinion on whether Hamas should disarm. Well, that is rather surprising. It's a terrorist organization. What's not being said is probably more important. We've seen examples like this over history. It's not that unusual that politicians sidestep questions, but it just seems like the magnitude of it now, the willingness to just completely disregard a question, to answer another question that they like better, or to offer a word salad that now you have to decipher. We see it on both ends of the political spectrum. It makes our lives as consumers of political communication that much more difficult. But I think we keep learning together. We keep trying our best to decipher and to figure out what's not being said and is that important. Hope you enjoyed this. Look forward to doing more. Have a wonderful day.